Pokemon is a game full of adventure, discovery, and bonds. It's a game about making your dreams a reality and becoming the very best, like no one ever was. But nowadays, Pokemon games have been robbed of almost everything that made them, well, Pokemon. They become nothing but messy, lazy marketing tools while the company pours all their resources into merch, the TCG, and everything else. It's honestly just sad, because I remember a time when developers appeared to love these games as much as I do, when they actually cared. But Pokemon games have lost that passion, and it desperately needs to come back. Generations 1 through 5. You can't beat that, man. Those are the games I grew up with. My first mainline Pokemon game was Pokemon Fire Red. I remember when my brother first let me, play his copy of it. He gave it to me pretty much to play. Honestly, I'm very happy that was my first because it was the Kanto region. I got to pick Charizard, even though I originally did pick Squirtle. But I'm like, you know what? No, I want Charizard. So I reset the file and got Charizard. And then my Charizard was pretty much the only Pokemon I used. So it was, I think by the Pokemon League, I think it was level 77. I just used that. But you can just see with every new game that came out, yes, at its core, is it the same game? Yes, it is the same game. But you can see the evolution. Just like the Pokemon within the games, the Pokemon games evolved slowly over time. And this goes all the way from Pokemon Red and Green to Pokemon Black 2 White 2. And that's why Pokemon Black and White and Black 2 White 2 are literally the pinnacle of Pokemon. They are the best Pokemon games, at least to me. And it's really hard to beat those. That is my Pokemon. That is the Pokemon I love. That is the Pokemon I'm passionate about. And that's the type of Pokemon I want to see return. Because when did all this start? When did Pokemon start losing its passion? Enter what I call the gimmick era. This all started with Pokemon X and Y, when for some reason they felt Pokemon needed gimmicks. When I don't know why, maybe to change up the formula, change up the gameplay, something like that. But from Generation 6 all the way through Generation 9, and probably in Generation 10 too, sadly, every game has had some sort of fucking gimmick. And it's just like, it's unnecessary. It's not needed. And it's only honestly hurt the series. And the gameplay. Especially like competitive gameplay, if you want to talk about that. It just feels like they are trying to sell the games with like a specific thing that's unique to this game, right? Like, oh yeah, like buy X and Y, because look, Mega Evolution, look at this. Buy Sun and Moon, look, you get big, powerful ultimate moves, C moves, and then look, in Sword and Shield you could become a bird, like a monster, like it's just like, bro. And then in Scarlet and Violet, look, you can have a stupid jewel on your head and change your type. This was the downfall of Pokemon. This is when it started. And it was steady. It wasn't immediate, but X and Y was way, way worse of a game than Black 2 White 2. But it wasn't bad. It was still Pokemon, right? And Mega Evolution is probably the best of the gimmicks for one reason and one reason only. Because not all the Pokemon have Mega Evolutions. Only specific ones. That is the reason. Now, yes, did they give Megas to some of the most powerful Pokemon in the game? Yes. And that's probably an issue. But it was only certain Pokemon. It wasn't all of them. But then Z-moves came along, and every Pokemon can use them. And it's like, okay, well, here we go now. It just started to not work, you know? And Z-moves were pretty damn broken. Dynamax, Gigantamax, really broken. Really broken. And everybody can do it. And then Terra is a bit better than the last two I talked about, but like changing your type, that's actually like a strategic thing that you can do in battle. You know, that spices battle up a bit, but the way it looks and the way it, you know, I don't know. It looks retarded, one, but also it's also annoying because any Pokemon at any time can terrestrialize into a whole nother type, and then you have to adapt to that type. But sometimes that's just not possible with how Pokemon works. But this is when Pokemon started to lose itself. It got real bad with Sword and Shield, like that. God damn, like, oh, I'd say real bad Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and then like Sword and Shield, like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon weren't very good, but then Sword and Shield was where it really just took a shit, which is also when they went to consoles. But what about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? Well, guess what? I'd say those are the best looking and probably the best, I guess, besides like Legends Arceus is up there too, but the best Switch Pokemon games. It's like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the fuck happened, you know? Pokemon just became a press A simulator and got all the life sapped out of it. Like they didn't give a fuck anymore. The games were rushed. The games were not complete. Looking at Scarlet Violet. Now that we're on home consoles, you know, their schedule is the fucking same. The graphics are shit. Like, it's just like, not that matters too much, but it matters. You know, it matters because it shows how much the developers care. That's why it matters. I don't need AAA graphics. I don't want AAA graphics. I hate AAA graphics, but if the Pokemon games look like literal PS2 GameCube games, there's a problem, you know? Like, come on. They just, I don't know. They just lost what's truly important about Pokemon to me. And yeah, they tried to be creative on the Switch. They tried to do new things like the Wild Area. They started with the Wild Area. And then they had that DLC, which was all Wild Area, right? And then Legends Arceus was, you know, open roam, you know, open, like, I don't know what to call it. It's like open world, but it was more linear, which I like personally more than just an open world game. And then Scarlet and Violet was open world. Legends EA was an open, like, city. Like, okay, like, yeah, okay, there's this, you could see that they really want to go into the openness route, but why? Is it because they want to evolutionize the series, or is it because they want to copy every single fucking other game after Breath of the Wild or whatever other game, Skyrim, whoever revolutionized the open world shit? Is that what they're trying to do? Right? Because we're on a home console, we can do that now. You know, it's just like, come on, because that's what it feels like more so to me. But the problem is, right? Even Legends Arceus, this goes for Legends Arceus. They are trying to be creative and trying to do new things, but it's just not working. The games are very messy. They're all over the place. They lack the passion, they lack the vision, and they lack the direction. And if you lack all those things, you cannot create a good game. Not at all. And plus, the resources not going into the games and the schedule. It's fucking ridiculous. You need to spend time making your games. You cannot just make them in 2 years. You know, you need more time, especially if you're working on multiple games. Like Generation 10's coming out. They were working on Legends EA, but they were also working on Generation 10. So it's just like you're splitting your team up already, which isn't big. To my information about Game Freak, their team is not very big. So yeah, it's terrible. It's they're all over the place. They don't care anymore. So then the question is, what makes those classic games better? Like what was the difference, you know? And I think a big thing they all have in common is someone who has worked, directed, composed music for, produced every single one of these games. That person is Junichi Masuda. He is one of the main Pokemon guys. And the best games, Black and White, Black to White 2, he was a director for. At least Black and White, he was the main director, and then he was probably working on And then he was working on X and Y, I think. So he was more like a producer role for Black 2 White 2. But it's still, like, he directed Black and White. He made Unova. He was heavily involved in Generations 1 through 5. Heavily. And now I know there's some sort of controversy about him, right? Something with, I don't know, like he was, what was the quote? Like he ruled Game Freak with an iron fist or something like that. We weren't there, right? We weren't there. I wasn't there. You weren't there. You know, I don't work in Game Freak. I don't know where that source came from that talked about all that. I don't know. And yes, maybe he did have some unhealthy tendencies. But to me, when he apparently ruled Game Freak with an iron fist, the games, you made better games. Like, you made better games. So, and yes, the technology was also, you know, it's on the DS and the Game Boys and stuff, so the technology isn't as, it's not as much of a hassle, I guess, to make those than compared to console games. But again, like, you're really doing a lot of the same shit, so that's probably not even true. But you made better games. You know why? It's because he had a vision, he had direction, and he had the passion for Pokemon. He's been working on Pokemon since the first games, the first ones. How could you not be passionate? That's to me, if I was him, that's my baby. You know, I'm also a creator. And if I create something, that's my baby. That's my thing.
What the? Where the hell am I?
Ricky, I got a little surprise.
Don't you dare, you little shit!
Sorry, Ricky,
No!
you've been replaced.
I'll get you one day, Video!
If I have a vision, I want my vision. Like, yes, of course, if you're working with people, always be open for new ideas. Hear what people have to say, always. You know, work with the people, you know? Don't just have them work for you. Work with them. And maybe he didn't do that. I don't know. Again, I don't know. This guy had a vision. And he made his visions a reality. He made what he wanted to make. To me, it seems like he made the games he really wanted to make. And that's the thing. When you're creating, you cannot care. You need to do that vision. You need to follow that vision and direct your game a certain way and keep going in that direction. Yes, you could like branch off in certain areas, but when you start to branch off too much, right? The branches get too long, you're going in all these different places and it ruins the foundation. That's the problem with new games. I feel they don't have direction. They're all over the place. That is the biggest problem with them. They're all over the place. And then, oh, the time limit's up. You gotta release it. Okay, slap the fucking boom. Approved, send it out. You know? They have to send out the game before they're even done. Before they even know what the fuck they wanted to do with the game. So to me, I'd rather have someone rule with an iron fist than someone who can't fucking make anything. And apparently I also read that, like, he worked on X and Y. I think he was a co-director or something. I don't know the whole truth, please. But apparently, like, he fought with people on ideas for X and Y or something. Or, like, they didn't like his ideas for X and Y or whatever. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not him, but I don't know what happened. But I wouldn't be surprised because X and Y had kind of like a deep thing going on with AZ. The concept was life and death. I bet that Junichi Masuda wanted to really dive into that aspect of the game, but the game never went that way. The game never actually got deep. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's because they shut him down. They tried to fight him on that, you know? I really wouldn't be surprised. Because Black and White covers deep topics. Even Diamond and Pearl, like with Diamond and Pearl, right? Like, that's when they really started to get deeper when it came to, like, the villains and what's going on and the topics. And then Black and White really went into it. Like, Black and White felt like a story, you know? I love those games so much. And then, guess what? Guess what was the latest game Junichi Masuda worked on? Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. He directed it. And those are probably the best games on the Switch. They actually felt like Pokemon. That game, it actually looked like whoever made it cared about it. Like, I really enjoyed it. And yes, a lot of the aspect is nostalgia. That game really runs on nostalgia. But it wasn't just the nostalgia. The game is just a well-made game. And yes, it does only use the first 151 Pokemon, which is a lot easier to implement than 400 or 1,000. But that's the thing, though. Like, I don't know how long they had to work on that game, but they made sure it was nice, you know? And then BDSP comes out, and it's just a carbon copy of Diamond and Pearl, which he also directed. It's just a carbon copy, and it looks like shit, and plays like shit, and it's gross. It's a big fucking scam, you know? It's like, what the fuck is this shit? What is this shit? And I bet he wasn't proud about that one, you know? But he didn't work on it. Game Freak didn't work on it. It was, they had some other company work on it, and it's not that company's fault. It's the Pokemon company's fault. He probably was just the guy who made sure everything was, you know, correct. You know, like, yes. But they literally just carbon copied the game. They just copy and pasted it. My point is, you need somebody like Junichi Masuda. If not him, fine. You don't want him, fine. But you need someone like him. You need someone who has that vision, who has that direction, who has that passion. The game director is very important. Very important. Look at Smash Bros. Sakurai cares so much. He puts in so many details. He makes sure he's like a perfectionist, you know, like he adds so much shit. He doesn't stop working on the game. He loves talking about his games. He has a whole YouTube channel doing it. You need a director like Junichi Masuda, and you need a director like Masahiro Sakurai. You need those types of people. They make the best. They create the best things. That goes for anything. Movies, shows, anime, which are shows, games. Those types of people create the best things. Bring Junichi Masuda back. I mean, he's at least making, I think he still makes music, so that's good, because his music is Pokemon. He made the Pokemon soundtrack what it is, man. You know, Cynthia's Theme? He made that. You guys like that so much? He made that. So, just so you know. Hoenn is my favorite region. He apparently made Hoenn. Like, awesome. That's awesome. Love that guy. I don't care what they said about him. I really don't. He fucking made my games. You know, he made my Pokemon games. So, what does Game Freak have to do? What can Pokemon do to be better, to make better? Besides the thing I just said, they need to start from the ground up. They need to just erase everything. Be like, okay, we're gonna restart our schedule. We're gonna figure out how we can focus on the game and also make sure the graphics look nice. My answer to that is have someone else do the graphics, because every single other company that makes a game like Namco, like new Pokemon Snap and Pokken Tournament, and you know, even the new Pokelago game, what the fuck is it called? Pokopia looks better than the mainline games. So just have another company handle the graphics side. Like, why is that so hard? Your shit already gets leaked, so that can't be an issue. You know, like, your shit already gets leaked. So have someone work on the graphics while Game Freak focuses on the other game elements, like the gameplay. And because they're good at that, you know, they got the gameplay down. You work on the story, you know, get better writers, focus on that, the character modeling, whatever the fuck, you know, animations. They can focus on all that shit. And then have the graphic, because the graphics seem to be a real undertaking for them. Put more money into the games. Finally fucking add voice acting, because why is that so hard to add? You don't have to voice act every line. Just cutscenes at least. Like, come on. Like, they have voice acting in everything else. Mobile games, anime, like, where the fuck is the voice acting? Hire more people. You need more people. The more games you're making, the bigger the games you're making, the more people you need. Get more people. Plain and simple, get more people. They can do so much. to make Pokemon what it used to be, even greater than what it used to be. They just have to do it. They just have to care. They just need to find that passion for the games that they lost. Because, again, like, look at Scarlet and Violet. You can't tell me that they were passionate about making that game. Come on. It feels like they didn't even want to make it. Like, compare that to, like, Legends Arceus. That feels like a game they wanted to make. But they just didn't have enough time to really make it, what, you know, ideal. But Scarlet and Violet, they literally, looks like they just fucking, you know? Like, it feels like they didn't want to make that. Legends ZA, you know? I guess, it, you know, Legends ZA, I feel like they wanted to do the new battle system, but experiment with that, but they didn't want to actually make a new Legends game so soon, because they made one really fucking soon. You know? Like, they saw how much people loved Legends Arceus, like, okay, yeah, do another one. You know? It's just like, but, yeah. It's a step in the right direction, Legends ZA. But they just gotta get it together. You know? I want to see them care because fans, are making better games than Game Freak is. I've played a couple of fan games in the past year that have just blew my mind. If people are doing it for free, why can't you do it? And I understand you got whatever schedule, well, guess what? Change your fucking schedule, you know? If that's the biggest problem, change it. We don't need a Pokemon game every year or every 2 years or whatever the fuck, okay? If I got a new Pokemon game every 5 years, I'd be happy about that. You know why? Because they would be fucking good. They should really remember what Satoru Iwata said about rushed games, right? Was it him? Someone said something about rushed games being bad. Something like that. I don't remember the quote, but I guess I should remember the quote. Oh, you know what? Game Freak, hey, I'll remember with you. How about that? You know, let me look it up right now. Oh, see, this is interesting. So that quote, apparently people thought Shigeru Miyamoto said it, but he didn't. It was actually an industry saying originating from Satoru Iwata, which is what I thought. Yeah. Because Shigeru Miyamoto, I don't like him. But thanks for creating Mario, but I don't like it. Yeah, a delayed game is eventually good. The rush game is forever bad. I think they need to adopt Satoru Iwata's philosophy. Because I know without Satoru Iwata, Pokemon wouldn't even exist right now. Because the games were really fucked on the Game Boy. They would not work. And this is history for you guys. And Satoru Iwata fixed the entire code. And boom, they worked. He single-handedly, I think, fixed the entire code in Pokemon Red and Green. I'm sure Junichi Masuda remembered that. It's just upsetting that Pokemon's the way it is right now, and I just really want it to get better again. That's it. I love Pokemon so much. I just wanted to see it have that passion, have that love put into it again. I want to come out of a new Pokemon game and say, you know what? That was great, man. That was a great time. Legends Arceus, you know, I ended up crying for that game because it really showed it was what I always wanted. After Pixelmon, you know, like after I saw Pixelmon, I'm like, damn, I want to get a Pokemon game like this. And Legends Arceus was the closest thing to that. And yeah, I saw it and I cried. And you know what? I came out of that game and I'm like, that is a really good game. But it could have been better. It could have been even better. So I want to come out of a Pokemon game and not say that last part, that it could have been better. You know? No game is perfect. But I want to just come out of it and be like, I had a great time. That was a great game. Please, Game Freak, care again about the games that you're making, about what you're creating, because I just don't see how you can disrespect your own series like that. I just don't. But no matter what, I love Pokemon. I always will. I love seeing the new Pokemon released. I won't ever stop loving it until even beyond the day I die. I'll still love it. And when I reincarnate, I hope I reincarnate into the Pokemon world. I really hope I do.